Man, he was trying to get his revenge tour.
Yeah, he really don't like. What's his name for the Clippers? He don't like Morris.
Morris probably took a spot or something.
And then Morris was going at it.
But we live.
He's a hell of a defense. Are we live now?
Yeah, I should have started it a little later, but
we live.
I mean, we still started off with some sports talk though.
We started off with some sports talk.
I mean, we live. But yeah, well, it's cool. Just gotta pop the mic a little bit, but welcome back to episode 2 of Sports Talk. You know, it's your boy Reik here.
It's your boy Reik. It's your boy Big Regg.
We back in the building.
Checking in, man. We back in one another episode of Sports Talk. Man, in the sports world, brother, it's getting real. Well, we can start with a little bit of hockey first because I want to say the Pens, y'all need to step it up. I mean, they've been playing shitty lately. They've had such a very good season at the beginning of the year. And now towards the end of the year, they've been losing like so many games. So they got to step it up because I definitely want to see them in the Stanley Cup before Malkin and Crosby and all of them break up. You know what I mean? That dynasty team.
Yeah, it's coming to an end. Yeah,
it is. It's coming to an end.
It's kind of like the Big Ben, Le'Veon Brown era.
Right. I think this is their last year together. I think both of them are going to go ahead and call it hanging up after this. They're both made a lot of money. They won a lot of rings. I think they're just ready just to. They got 3. That's a lot. But I mean, they won 2 back to back.
Yeah, those. That summer was lit.
Yeah,
16, 17.
Yeah, that summer was lit. So, I mean, they already did something already goaded already. So it's like they don't have nothing else to prove. At this point, they're just playing just to really play, honestly, till they play the game. So, but moving on to NBA, that shit's getting crazy.
Yeah, it's already playoffs, man. Playoff season. So, the playing tournaments. I think the playing tournaments been in action for about like a year or 2 now.
Yeah.
So, that's a good way to keep teams in. It's more competitive this year. Yesterday, we had them 2 games with the Nets and the Cavaliers. That game was something different. I definitely liked it. Like I said, they was going back and back. KD was doing some tremendous stuff. Yeah. My boy said he was doing some Larry Bird stuff yesterday.
Yeah, he was.
Kyrie.
KD was going off. It was crazy because KD plays with a chip on the shoulder, and you can definitely tell. I just feel like with them though, they just need a big man. I think they have a lot of shooting guards, a lot of guards over there in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. They need a big man, bro.
That's why Ben Simmons need to come back. They said he might be able to come back, come playoff time. I hope so. I pray so.
They said he's supposed to come back, and they also said Steph Curry's supposed to come back too.
Oh yeah. Well, he came back yesterday. He didn't really play that much.
Oh, he did come back yesterday?
I think so. Yeah, he had like 0 points. He didn't score anything.
Oh, okay.
But I think he might have had less minutes, or he wasn't really playing as much. But
they just working him in.
Yeah.
He'll get there though.
Because trying to fit that in, I mean, like I said, if they get Ben Simmons back,
if they get Ben Simmons back, that's gonna be crazy. The Timberwolves, they played
the Clippers.
That game was just wild. That was one of the best games I think I've ever seen in a long time. And the Timberwolves, I gotta give them credit. I mean, the Clippers was on them the whole game. They pulled it out towards the end. And D'Angelo Russell, shout out to him. Shout out to Pat Bev. The dudes held it down. Unfortunately, Carl Anthony didn't come through for him. It'd be like that sometimes. When you're a star, you just gotta fall back and let your teammates do it, and that's what he did. And they balled their heart out.
They had that fire in them because it seemed like D'Angelo Russell. I mean, I know it was like a year ago, but like he was on the Warriors. He wanted to prove himself, and they didn't think he was that good enough, so they put him on the Timberwolves. Same with Pat Beverly, on the Clippers. Like
he was on the Clippers, so I already knew he was gonna play with a chip on the shoulder. That's why he don't like Morris, because they used to play with each other. So it's like he don't like them because he felt like they kind of traded him without telling him. So
I mean, he was. I want to say he was a problem. He definitely played good, but he was more of a hothead.
He was always a hothead. But he's just one of those players that you need in your team because he can really aggravate the opponent. He really can because the way his style is, and he's irritating. You know what I mean? You need that because that's basically what he did. He got into the Clippers' head last night. They had the game. I watched it from beginning to end. They had the game. and he got in their head bad towards the end. All of them, Paul George, all of them got in their head.
Did Kawhi play? I missed.
No, he's out. He's out. He's not returning. I don't know when he's coming back. His knee, something about his knee. He blew his knee out. So
They really need him.
yeah, they need Kawhi back.
I don't think Paul George can lead the team by himself. He definitely
Nah, and I think Paul George. Me honestly, I think his era is just over. I don't think the Clippers is just it for him. I think he needs to go to another team. Me personally, I would love to see him somewhere down like Atlanta.
That'd be nice. Him and Trae Young.
Trae Young.
That'd be nice.
That would be like a monstrous thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would even like to see him over there playing in LA with Bron if they able to make a trade to get AD out of there. That's what I would do honestly, because AD at this point is just really useless.
He's injury prone.
Yeah, you're spending a lot of money for like very minimum minute. I know they're mad about that. Like they paid a lot of money, he barely got that many minutes out of him. Still got to pay him. I would hate that as a GM, and I know that's one of the hard. And the NBA is playing GM because it's like you gotta like figure out like trying to multitask these players to play and pay them, but it's like you got the story. He's probably making more majority than everybody on the team besides Bron, and he's barely playing.
Right. Yeah, I want to see Paul George like somewhere. Even with the Lakers, like I don't know, like he already had like experience with. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna keep Russell now. Everybody's saying, you know, Bron said he don't mind running it back with Russ, but
he's another one that got to go. He don't fit their style.
I'm not like I don't know. I haven't really studied the Lakers this year, but like I've been hearing a lot of negative energy about Westbrook. But seeing him, he almost averaged a triple-double this season. So it's just like it's just him and Bron, like his playing time, and then everybody wasn't playing at the same time. Sometimes
I think he played the best ball when he was at OKC, man. Like
he took over, and that team. I feel like Russ is more of he needs his own team because even when the Wizards, he did damage. I mean, he was with Bradley Beal, like he just needed another star, like 4 or 5 stars. The Lakers proved, like everybody's seen that the Lakers proved that, like you don't like even if you get a whole bunch of stars, like it's all about chemistry and injuries. If you don't have that injuries, you know what I'm saying. If you're not injured, or if you can handle playing with big stars, you can get the job done. But they proved like even if you had big stars, everybody thought they was going to be number one. They look like a number one team, and they played like number 11.
They really do, but for them to end up like that and not make the playoffs, that's unacceptable.
That's unheard of.
Like but that's even I don't care. I don't use their type of team they have as an excuse. There's no excuse for the way that they played. Like they had a monstrous bench at that too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no way for them to not win no games.
And I thought they had a good mix with veterans and good players.
Out,
they had Malik Monk.
Got Monk.
Yeah.
You still got that Reeves. That Reeves dude, he's a rookie. He's been balling. You still got Dwight Howard. You still got Carmelo Anthony. Yeah. You still got all those dudes. So I mean, what? You just don't win no games? I mean, that's unacceptable. They had a chance. They would.
And now it's just like it looks like some good teams are playing this year. Good young teams. Like you got the Jazz and the Mavs in the playoffs. You got the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies now in the playoffs. The Raptors, 76ers, Nuggets, Warriors, Bulls, Bucks. Tonight we got the Hornets and the Hawks in the play-in and the Spurs and Pelicans.
I can't wait to watch that. That was another ball, man. And watching him and Trae Young, that's gonna be fun.
Exactly, yeah. And then their team is actually nice in form too. So it's like, it's gonna be exciting to see which team come out. I like LaMelo Ball. I think I got my money on the Hornets, but I can't sleep on Trae Young and the Hawks because they're form too, and like Trae Young is a dog. So
Trae Young's a dog. And you gotta look at it too. Trae Young is people look at him because he's small. Yeah, he can't play. That dude plays like he's 6'2". He don't care about size. He make dudes look small. He still goes to the hole and that's why I tell people that whole small theory of being it doesn't matter if you're small nowadays. If you can play, you can play. It doesn't matter. There's that dude, Manuel Hansen. He got one arm. I see that dude going to the league.
He's going in the league.
I don't care what nobody.
He's something about. Different. Like
I still see that dude coming to the league.
And then the fact that he has one arm and his one arm is so strong, like he's making bucket for bucket for bucket. Like
Like he's driving to the hole, he's windmill, dunking on people. Like to me, there's no heights to it.
Well, out of all the playoff games, which one do you think is the best competition?
Against who?
Just out of all the playoffs,
I think the Suns and the Bucks is still the series for me.
For real, that's what you got your money on.
That's still the series for me. That I think that's gonna be a rematch again. Of the Western Conference. Well, no, not what. That's the Eastern. No, Western Conference Finals.
Well, no. Well, the Suns are in the Suns are in the Western, but the Bucks are in the Eastern.
Yeah, in the East.
So you think that's gonna be the finals?
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna be the finals.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I can see the Suns doing something, even the Bucks, because they are like they're the one of them teams they sneak up. Like you don't like they're good, but like you leave them out the conversation. And when Giannis play, he plays, put up 50 points. You got Middleton putting up points, and then Chris, you got Chris Middleton, Giannis, so many players. Holiday, yep, that's the third one. And you got them three like alone, like big men form and shooters. Like that's really what the NBA needs now. Big men who are shooters. If you have that, you're winning a couple championships, and all three of them.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I see in it. Everybody else, they're cool. I mean, I like Philly too. I think that's another team that everybody's sleeping on.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're gonna get far. I feel like they're gonna get to the Eastern Conference Finals because Harden and Embiid is just unreal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've been doing pretty good. I think they locked up the 4th spot. They paid the Raptors. I definitely got them winning. Like I think they're sweeping the Raptors.
Yeah.
Because they play the Raptors. But yeah, Embiid and Harden, they make a pretty good duo. Like their chemistry kind of formed like towards the end of the season. But like I think as time goes on, they're going to get better and better. And I feel like I can see Harden winning the ring. At least in the next 3 years, if Philly can get everything right and get some. Like they already have players like they're underdogs. But I feel like Maxi's an underdog.
Yeah.
I mean they sleep on him, but he's pretty good. Tobias Harris is definitely an underdog. People sleep on him too much, and he definitely is a great player. I can't wait to see Jamal Murray return to the Nuggets.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
I think that's going to be good. I mean, there's just a lot of good matchups, though. I can't wait for that Brooklyn and Boston to match up with Tatum and KD.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
The Celtics, they stepped up this year. I think they're like in the series, like all the games they played this year, they're like 3-1 against the Nets. So I mean, they've been doing damage. Hopefully, if Ben Simmons come back, like I kept telling people, like you got Seth Curry, Ben Simmons if he comes back, Drummond, KD, Kyrie.
Yeah,
there should be no excuse. But like I said, things happen. But I'm like, there should be no excuse for them to not at least make it like to the conference finals or the finals.
Yeah, I hope that's what they at least make it to. But maybe forward.
Yeah, and their defense need to improve too. As far like they just let them get too many fast breaks. Like they need to control that a little better. Like they're so worried about shooting on offense, they're like, don't worry about defense. It's like, all right, we're tired from playing offense. Let's just play light. They need to play hard every step of the way. Give the same energy to both offense and defense.
Exactly.
But I mean, I like how they spread the ball out yesterday. It was like almost everybody had like double digits yesterday. Kyrie had like 34. KD, I think, had like 20 something. Everybody did pretty good. Even Bruce Brown stepped it up. He's been stepping it up as he's a good 6-man. He's been stepping it up, and I don't know. I hope to see that that goes well. I'm trying to look and see. I think the two best matchups for real, in my opinion, in the just in the playoffs, not like overall. But I like the Nuggets and the Warriors and the Bulls and the Bucks. Like them two playing against each other, that's the best matchup in my opinion. Because the Bulls definitely stepped up. I would love to see them play the Bucks. I would love to see them beat the Bucks. but who knows? But you got DeMar DeRozan,
Rosen,
you got Ball,
crazy.
you got a good center with I can't think of his name right now, Vucevic, and then you got Caruso. Caruso is definitely an underdog that people overlook, but he's a good player.
Yeah.
So it's like that team's like, in my opinion, that team's like a mediocre version of the Suns. My personal opinion.
No, you're right.
But I think they could probably get the job done. But if Giannis go off and Middleton go off, yeah, they gotta shut them down defense. But that's my favorite matchup in the Nuggets and the Warriors. Like seeing Jokic play.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy.
Against James Wiseman. If Wiseman come back,
Yeah,
that's gonna be a great matchup.
yeah.
Then Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, not Donovan Mitchell, Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray. It's
Yeah, I think they got Jamal Murray back too.
Yeah, Jamal Murray, not Donovan. He played for the Jazz, but I'm thinking of somebody else. But yeah, you getting Jamal Murray, Jokic. That team is gonna be formed nice once they get Murray back. There was like a couple of speculations about Westbrook if he should. Braun said he won't mind running it back with Westbrook again. Who knows? Because they just fired their coach, Frank Vogel. So they're like, I don't know what they're going to do this season. They might, because it basically made it seem like they were just playing by themselves. They didn't have a coach. Like Frank Vogel wasn't really doing anything. So
I'm glad they fired his ass.
Right. Like even the bubble, like he did okay in the bubble, but like Lakers had the biggest opportunity because everybody was injured.
Yeah, they only won that bubble ring because that was an easy ring. Right. It was already there already.
So it was like, and they was doing good too before the bubble happened, but then like just with injuries and players getting out and the playing tournament coming in last minute, it was like, okay, like the league was just something different. So it was like. And then LeBron had everything to prove that he had a elite team, and then they didn't even really make it because of injuries and all that. So I ain't going to like take away LeBron, not being a GOAT and everything, but it's just like he had an opportunity to really like do something big this year.
Yeah, and then
But do you think Westbrook will probably stay on the Lakers? Or do you think he's going to get traded? He's out the door.
And let's just keep paying him, bro.
Right. He averaged almost a triple double, but then again, like I said, I don't think he forms right.
Back then, that more recently, I think his sacks and everything went down.
It wasn't that bad. I think he almost averaged. I think he had like 6 rebounds, 8 assists, and like averaged 20 points per game. So like almost a triple double, but yeah, it did go down from previous years. He ain't do as good as he usually do.
Yeah.
But I think he needs to just go on a team where he can just dominate himself. At this point, like I love Russ, definitely my number 2 player. But like, I just think at this point in his career, and the same go for Harden. If he don't like step up and make it to like the finals, I don't think them two is ever gonna win a ring if they don't find a good team and get some good chemistry.
Yeah, and right now in the league, it ain't doing nothing but getting better.
Yeah.
So,
and then they forming all these super teams. Young players are out proving the vets nowadays. So,
like the Cavs, that's one team. Don't sleep on them. They're gonna be back. They'll be back. That's another young team on the Raz. They just need probably one more piece over there. They'll be back.
They definitely got almost all the pieces. They gonna get something. And then they was talking about KD. He been talking a lot on Instagram, saying certain things damn near being the king of New York because he beat the Knicks and he hasn't lost to the Knicks since like 2013 and around that time. And then they was talking about he was saying
I'm thinking because I just watched his podcast. But what's his name? The old ex-NBA player. He got a podcast.
JJ Redick?
No, not JJ Redick. Steven Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And KD was talking about basically how it is to play on super teams. Like, as a superstar, he was just saying how, like, the challenges and stuff like that. And he just, I don't know. It seems like KD is a hard player to play with because it seems like he's very selfish. Like he don't, like it seems like he wants things to go his way. Like you say, like that's how he felt when he played for the Warriors. Like it was mad because like certain shit they didn't like listen to him. Like and it's like it's a team sport.
Yeah, you gotta have every piece of it. And even when like, well, even
that's why niggas get to the playoffs and lose because they don't get their teams involved.
Right. And it seemed like even when he is in the playoffs, like he'd be like taking over too much. And I'm like, but it just seemed like most of his players, well, at least on the Nets team, like previous years, they don't step up. So he has to always like be the person to step up for everybody. But it's just like he's doing too much. And I kind of could see like even with the Draymond Green situation, he said that was like mainly like if you want to be real, that's the main reason why he left OKC. Him and Draymond wasn't really getting along, and I didn't think their chemistry. They didn't really like each other off court.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, it's like KD definitely got to find like that group of people start sharing the ball more. But some of them just got to be clutch. Like I said, I could see him with this team, doing great things. But
yeah, and I can see him going far in the playoffs, but can they push over that edge to get that ring is the question.
Right. If they, I feel like if they beat Giannis, if they get a chance to play the Bucks again, and they beat Giannis, they're getting it. If they can't, I mean, of course, that's our big problem. But we'll see. They got to beat the Celtics first, like they did last year. But we'll see. But do you think he was talking about OKC and Golden State retiring his jersey? How you feel about that?
I mean, I feel like they deserve it. I mean, he did this thing when he was at OKC. I mean, he did put in work 35 and then went over there to Golden State. And he put his work in. I feel like Golden State, though, I don't feel like they should retire his jersey, because I feel like he won rings with them, but he didn't establish himself like.
Yeah, he wasn't really there that long.
Like he came in a good situation already. Like they was already winning ships before he got here. So it was like
he was like an added piece.
Yeah, so you were just the added piece. You just had a million role, so we can keep winning. Like
yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, I didn't even really like him on the Warriors. Like I liked him on the Warriors, but I'm like, this is like unfair. But then again, it makes sense, but it's like unfair. Like
and they put that together because they wanted to beat Braun. They had to order to beat Braun. You gotta suit up like that.
Yeah. I feel like, he got them 2 rings because of it. He was like, let me team up with a team. And everybody be like, well, KD's a snake because he left his team and this, that, and the third. I'm like, in the game of basketball, you got to do what you got to do to win. It don't matter.
Yeah.
It don't matter what. Like, loyalty in the game, it don't mean nothing unless you winning them chips. Like, that's all these players is worried about. That's what they get the big bucks to make it to the finals. Why not put a super team together? But it's like, dang, it's not like old basketball where you had only the top 3, your top 3. Now it's like everybody on your starting 5 got to be top tier. Even your bench players got to be top tier for you to even win anything. So it's like
to be on top of it, and on top of that, you got to understand too, like you got to have a good bench because when times get rough, say those 3 players need to take a break. You got to have somebody that's going to be able to come off the bench and that's going to be able to be productive. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what a lot of teams are missing, bro. Obviously, they don't have them extra players. Like, that's why they get to the playoffs and they lose. They go up against teams like Steph Curry and them who's loaded on the bench. And their bench can come out and just going to wash you. Right? All your starters are out.
Yeah, that's a suit right there. You got the right chemistry, the right form. You need all the teammates for real to make it happen. If you got it, then
and what are we doing? If we ain't trying to put that dynasty together, there's no point in doing this shit if you're not putting it together. Let's be real.
So you said you think the Suns and the Bucks are going to go to the finals again? Do you think who you think will come out on top in that?
Suns.
Okay.
I think this time they're going to rig it so
I feel like it is tough. That'd be cool if either the Nets and the Warriors go, the Suns and the Bucks go, the Suns and the Nets go, or I'm trying to think. I can't see them. Or it's weird because it's always on one team. But I was just thinking about how it was like I compared it to like I know basketball, football is different, but comparing to how football, if it's like how it was in the Super Bowl football, then I think a good matchup would be like a team that you wouldn't expect is like, but you kind of do is like the Grizz. If you see the, I wouldn't even mind if it was the Grizzlies and the I'm trying to think of another team and the Bulls. That'd be a nice little good finals to see. One of the two, because it's like these young players nowadays are dominating the league. Like, there's so many stars at a young age nowadays. It's a little more competitive than it did, um, about 10 years ago.
Yeah, because they're coming in with more fundamentals and skills.
Players that you never heard of. And then, like you said, with the one dude with the one arm, he's going to change the game if you go in the league. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely excited to see in the future and how these players are going to form and play with each other. The young generation now, like they're definitely doing like big things. You got Tatum dropping monster numbers, like he's been playing in the league for like 20 years. You got players like Ben Simmons, like when he is activated and healthy, dominating. Donovan Mitchell playing like Michael Jordan. You got like big players, you know what I'm saying? So it's interesting.
Yeah, and then something I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, also too in the draft, I was thinking too, the Steelers was talking about getting this dude's name from Georgia. Damn, I can't think of it though. But it was an O line, so O lineman. And basically, making a long story short, they was talking about how Le'Veon had like a top this year coming in, like we need to work on our like O line, our blocking more. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I think the league is going to turn into like a more so rushing. Like everybody's going to be looking for good running backs next year. So
I can see that, like running back, because people sleep on running back. Everybody want to always throw the ball and throw the ball. Like that was and that was Ben's big problem. Like
they try to play like Brady. They try to do that, and that's why there's only one of him. They can do that five all the way down. Like I feel like the league is going to change into a running.
It needs to, like I was saying, like you got to run the ball more. Like everybody want to throw, but like give these running backs a chance. Like they'll get you yardage. Like you've seen players like Jonathan Taylor dominate the league, and even Fournette, and other players like other running back Najee Harris, a rookie, like doing damage his first year.
Exactly.
They like running backs is definitely the future. I feel like, and if you run the ball more, teams won't expect it. Like they will,
and they won't.
But they won't expect it as much as you throwing it. Like you gotta think about it. If you got 4 plays, if you run the ball three times out of the 4 plays, I guarantee you're going to get a first down at least one at a time. I mean, don't do it consistently 3 times, but like you like maybe run it first time, throw it one time, and then run the 2 ways. Nobody's going to expect that last play to be a run play because they're like, oh, he's close, but let me throw it past. Let me just throw it. They won't think it's like a quick little slant route or something like that. When you're right there, you could just run it, and then who knows if you punch it in, and then like big running backs, they can get to the first easily. So, but now, since we're on the topic of football, a lot of stuff going on in the NFL too off season.
I had to break like football season. It's gonna be crazy next year.
Right? Yeah. It's these are teams that you're like
that's happening. Like I'm like, wow. Like they're trying to spread it out a little bit.
Mm-hmm. They took the best players from the West, brought them to the East. They most divisions are tough now. That you're looking at both of these like conferences from the AFC and the NFC. You're just like, sheesh, like these teams are stacked.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, and I think this is gonna be the year of outstanding running backs. I'm just hoping we need to do so Najee can ball and quarterback.
Yeah, quarterback. It's been tricky because I know Dobbs. He went to the Browns. He's a backup for the Browns. And they let him go, and then tragedy happened. A couple of days ago.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. Haskins, man.
Dwayne Haskins, man. He definitely had potential, and he definitely was a great quarterback. He did his thing a little bit on the football team. We was talking about it, on the sports talk a while ago. How if they should have swapped the players out, should have gave him a chance all last year and see what he would have done. He did pretty decent in the preseason.
Yeah.
But it was just a tragedy.
But when you don't put your players in the regular season to see what they're capable of, you're really missing out for them.
Yeah, honestly, because I get, like we say, I get that Big Ben wanted to ball out his last year, but he can't do what he was doing like years ago. He's not the same Big Ben. He's slower. He can't get the ball out. Our O-line was trash at the time.
Yeah.
So it's just like you need a mobile quarterback who, if somebody's coming at you, you can run like some yardage.
You need somebody that's going to be able to extend plays. Like, just taking that sack and laying down ain't it.
Exactly. And it's just like that's all Ben was doing. But, I feel like I don't know. We only got Mason Rudolph and Trubisky, and I'm like Trubisky. He's one of them players. I'm excited to see because I'd rather have him than Mason Rudolph. But at the same time, like he hasn't really been showing up like as much as we would like. Like when everybody heard like Trubisky was going to be our quarterback, we're like, I don't know how everybody was like, but I'm just like, I don't know how to feel about this. Like he's the last person I think we would pick up. So why are we picking this man up?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm just like, who knows? Like he might step it up, and
he might put on the show. We're gonna see.
It's just him and Mason. They still definitely need to pick up one more quarterback.
Yeah, we gotta get one more. We have to. Some of us.
It's funny because like we were overstacked with quarterbacks last year. Now we only got two at this point, so it's like, who knows? But RIP Dwayne Haskins though. He got struck by a truck in practice, and it was just sad to see him go. Young soul, 24 years old.
So young, man.
So young. It's just sad, And he had like a lot. Like he was definitely training for spots, and I personally think, he could have got that spot though. For real, like.
Yeah, and that's why he was working hard, traveling down different places, trying to get different workout, and I think he was really working towards that.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like he would have got it. I think you put him in for a little bit, you see how he played. Mm-hmm. He would have did damage, and that would have changed that would have changed the game and the quarterbacks, because that's really what we need. More than anything, it seemed like quarterbacks is number one, especially black quarterbacks. Like those are the best type of quarterbacks we can get. You got quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson. You got quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes. Great. You got to give them a chance, especially the black quarterback. In my personal opinion. Yeah. Honestly,
I can't wait to see what Russell will do. That's gonna be exciting to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See how Russell moved the ball. He got a good team. The Broncos always been good. The defense is good. Offense is good. They just needed a quarterback. Now that they got that quarterback, there's really no excuses for them to not make playoffs. And I think they at least can be like second in the division. Like you can't sleep on the Chiefs, but
yeah, you can.
And then you got the Chargers, and you got the Raiders, and then the Raiders, like Derek Carr just got a big contract for the next 3 years, $121 million to play. So like he's definitely gonna be playing with a chip on his shoulder, with that inspiration. And then you got the draft coming up. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be exciting. Like this year, I feel like this year is like defensive wise and offensive line. The year like repeat like pieces like that. Usually every year it's about the next big quarterback, but it seems like in this draft it's more about edges and cornerbacks and centers. Those are kind of in the top draft class. So those type of teams, I feel like the teams that need defense and O lines, those are the best pieces, and definitely for us, we can pick up somebody. We just picked up, we just picked up somebody for our O line, or we just signed an extension for one of our players on our O line. So hopefully, that's the last piece we need is our O line, our defense. So I think. definitely. And even free agency, like you still got Stephon Gilmore, OBJ, like who knows? And then the Rams, that they're trying to go on going.
Yeah, they're trying to bring it back. So
Exactly, they just signed Bobby Wagner.
yeah,
They try to get Stephon Gilmore. If they get Stephon Gilmore with their offense, yeah, I think they might win another chip.
yeah.
I'm just like they looking scary.
They're going to bring big Aaron Donald back.
Aaron Donald coming back, yeah. So they might run it back. They might be the next Patriots. Messing around if they keep their team like that and everybody stay healthy. And then you got the two players. I won't even say I don't want to call them bum and disrespecting because they're decent, but the players that's kind of still like on the waiting list that are fighting for spots. Baker Mayfield and Jimmy G, like they're that new quarterback on the 49ers, their backup. He's been playing great.
Yeah.
So like they might put Jimmy G somewhere else, and I don't really know where they put him now. Everybody's like it's coming towards the preseason's about to start. So like who knows like what spot he's going to play in, and then you got teams left like the Seahawks. You got the Seahawks left. Baker, I can see Baker go to the Seahawks. That's the last resort. But honestly, if Jimmy G's on the list and after he get his surgery, the Seahawks might pick him up. Baker, I feel bad for Baker because he's not bad at all, but it's just like nobody wants him. He's not worth.
Style of play is still college.
Yeah, like he's more of a. I see him even better as a backup. Like Case Keenum, in my opinion, showed out last year compared to Baker. Like he was doing, he had better games than Baker sometimes. So I was like, for real, Case Keenum could have been a starter. But they got Deshaun Watson now.
So yeah, they got D Watt.
So we're gonna see what he do. That Browns team is looking crazy.
That's gonna be scary.
And I hope they can get something done because like there's no excuses, bro. They got a good defense. Their offense is way better than it's been. If they still had OBJ and Amari Cooper, that would have been scary. But even with Amari Cooper and Jarvis Landry, like that's a good fit right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's talent right there. But if Browns don't make it, you just know the Browns will always be the Browns. Right? So this is the best chance for them to do something. But
if they don't do nothing now, this shows why it's really like their coaching staff, honestly.
Exactly. And then and that's another thing. The defense is good. The offense is good. And they got Kevin Stefanski, who was on the Vikings. And the Vikings were good with him on there. Like they made it to the playoffs at least like twice while they was there. So they did pretty good though. As far as the Vikings going off. And I'm like, they got a good coach, O-line, defense. There's really no excuse.
Yeah, there ain't no excuse.
If they lose this year, they're just bums. I'm sorry to say it, but they're just bums. They have everything. Like I can see them at least making it the second round. Like they might end up being in a wild card, who knows, or they might even be in the playoffs. But I can see them at least making 2 rounds this year, at least 2 rounds. I'm like, but who knows how it's going to go. But they have no excuse. If they do bad, then that's on them. Yeah, like after that you really can't do nothing. And then the Browns wasted so many draft picks to get Deshaun Watson.
And then they gave up all that. So it's just like
if you lose with these weapons, like you're just the team itself is just a failure. You can't do anything with that. Matt Ryan, he just signed a $30 million contract with the Colts. I think he's going to do pretty good on the Colts. So yeah, I feel like this is his another chance. Like that's what the Colts are about. They're all about giving quarterbacks who fail another chance.
That's it.
Like they gave Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz was doing terrible on the Eagles. They gave him a second chance. Now they're giving Matt Ryan a second chance because he wasn't doing good on the Falcons, and he had some good players. He had Pittman. I think it was Pittman. All right, I might be thinking about the Colts. I forgot, but Kyle Pitts actually. Their tight end. They had him.
He was going off.
Who else they have? They had a pretty good defense. The Falcons. They had a decent defense. But yeah, they were getting like destroyed all season. Like They would win games. You were like, okay, they were like up and off. Like they win games. Sometimes you're like, how did they win this?
How?
And then they would lose games that you'd be like, wow, like 3-4 games in a row now. Like y'all's trash. But then they'll beat a team after that's real good. You're like, I don't understand this.
Right.
But you know, when the off season comes, we're gonna see who's really gonna show up. Though, what team do you think is gonna be the best? I mean, I know there's tons of teams right now in the NFL, but like, I don't know. Do you have like a team right now that is in your favorites that you gonna be like, this team about to go off?
I'm trying to see some picks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the draft is really probably gonna form the NFL together to see who's really what is really made out of. Once you get these picks and once you see like the preseason, how the players play, then you know what team you got for that time being. But excited to see. I'm more excited for playoffs because it's upcoming. It starts April 16th.
Yeah,
a couple of days from now. I'm excited.
Girl, mixtape dropping too that day.
Oh yeah.
Harden and Embiid. It's called Harden and Embiid, dropping on April 16th. So make sure y'all tap into that.
Harden and Embiid. What I know you said the playoffs kind of inspired it, but what made you want to go with the Harden and Embiid?
Just knowing what I wanted to do because like watching the interview, Harden made that decision to go to. He said this is what he said. Harden said he never really wanted to play in Brooklyn. Like he wanted to go to Philly. Like that's what he wanted.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Some of Meek Mills is very close.
Yeah.
Like he fucked with Meek Mills heavy. But he been wanting to go to Philly, and that's kind of how I feel. I feel like I'm dropping this music. I'm taking control, and I'm doing what I want to do. Like I'm making my own decisions. I'm doing what I want to do. And Joel Embiid is staying. Everybody's quick to leave Philly. He's happy to be the one to stay because he trusts the process. That's been his motto the whole time. Like been there, trust the process in his bio and Instagram. So like just seeing that, like they willing to come together and stand on something that they feel like will work. That's what this project's all about. Like we just stand solid, knowing this is the music that I want to drop. I'm not dropping nothing that the industry wants to hear. Like this is about me. This is my story, and yeah, that's what they would drop it.
And of course, you're gonna have some basketball references in there too.
Oh yeah, definitely some basketball references in there. What references I got? I forgot all the songs I put in there. I said the music, but yeah, I got some basketball references in there for sure.
I can't wait to hear it. You said it's dropping April 16th playoff season.
Yep, it'll be available midnight. Friday night it'll be available midnight. So make
sure y'all check out that Harden and Embiid tape.
Yep.
That's gonna be exciting to see. Yeah, it's playoff time. I'm excited to see how these teams do. Sunday. That's what
I'm going to boost the energy, man. I'm trying to sleep off this tiredness, get ready because I want to stay up and really watch these games. Like,
this man been working so hard.
I've been working so hard.
He don't never got no time to close his eyes.
I've never got like literally like that's why I'm literally always like sleeping, sitting up because like I'm literally on the move.
Good.
Up to the sun up to sundown. I'm literally nonstop.
You better find some 30-minute time to take a little nap or something.
Yeah, I got to. Like, and I just be so exhausted. Like, but I'm trying to manage it. That's what happens when you dream chasing, man. Chasing dreams and
workaholic. You
trying to get something done. You gotta keep the ball moving. So I feel like the moment I'm sleeping, somebody else is working on passing me up. So I'm just trying to stay ahead of things. You know what I mean?
Got to. I think that's all for sports talk today. We covered a lot today.
Yeah, we covered a lot today, man.
We appreciate y'all too, the fans.
We're gonna get, and as we go on, man, we got a long season coming, man. Football season will be starting up soon, playoffs will start. So we start going on. We want to invite some guests and bring people on.
Right, we just getting used to this new system right now.
Used to this new system. We also want to probably do it different locations sometimes to have it like a setup where we can be able to vibe a little bit more. You know what I mean? So just look forward to it, man. We going with the flow with this.
Right. So make sure y'all check out Harden and Embiid and the playoffs April 16th.
April 16th will be available. Midnight, April 15th. So April 16th, basically.
April 16th. So when y'all watching y'all favorite basketball game, make sure y'all get tuned into the songs.
Yeah, make sure y'all tune into the songs. Blast that, bump it the whole way through the NBA playoffs and on to the finals and on to the next season. It's gonna be something. It's a classic to me.
Nah, that'd be something though if they win the chip.
Yeah,
and they give you a shout out like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that'll be crazy. If I can get this, my goal is I'm looking up the roster.
You better make a trip to Philly.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make a trip to try to see if I can see what I can do with this, man. Take this to the arena or something. See if they'll be able to.
Hard work pay off. You stay dedicated. You go. You definitely anything possible.
Yeah.
You might even meet James Harden. They might sign your tape or something. That'd be dope.
Yeah, and actually, it's crazy. You just gave me a good idea because now that you said that, I am actually gonna take a trip to Philly.
Yeah, but I say it's only a couple hours away.
Yeah, so you just put me on something. I'm thinking in my head, like if I get posters made, and, like really ride around Philly, like people's gonna want to bump it. They're gonna be like, "Damn, that's the mixtape cover is hard." Like
yeah,
people see it,
yeah.
they automatically like, bro, this is crazy. So like, if it's out Philly, people out there will be like, I'm listening to this. These in the playoffs.
Yeah,
like,
that's smart business.
Yeah,
marketing.
that is more. Like I didn't even think of that,
marketing,
bro. You put me. I didn't even think of that with these. I'm like, to go out Philly and post that up because I got one of the hardest covers. So it's like,
and then they'll see like your state. I peeped it like it got your face, but it got you on B and Harden's body. So they're like, oh, ain't that supposed to be a B? Who's this? Oh, this is Reg.
Yeah. So when they see that, when people see it out Philly, now they see this poster, they're like, who the fuck is this? It's supposed to be Harden and B. Who is this dude?
They're gonna look it up like Harden X and B,
and
then then they'll see it. So
so that's a trip, man. Philly, I'll be coming to you soon. I'll to your neck of the woods, believe that.
Hey, I definitely might have to get out Philly too. You mean it's close to Brooklyn? You know, I gotta rep my team too.
Yeah, we can hit shit. We can go right there to Brooklyn too.
Yeah, let's make a trip. And if they play in the playoff, we there.
We there.
It's close to. It's like about 6 hours at the most. Yeah, we there. We gonna be at all the games.
Yeah. Maybe we can watch us outside the big screen outside. It's gonna be nice.
Exactly.
Be out there, smoke and watch the game.
If we can make some if we can make something work too, like anything's possible. We probably get our songs played during the NBA courts.
Like it's a lot of opportunity, man. That's why I didn't even think of that. You put me on something. I really got me hyped now. I'm ready to take that trip.
I got the manager status.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be exciting to see. We could even try to do some sports talk down there and maybe put people on. But that's gonna be dope to do. And, I'm excited. You know, this is gonna be a lot more in the works. Just traveling and working on this music and just networking. You know, and hopefully, you know, we get celebrities, athletes, rappers, you know, endorsement deals, stuff like that. Like that's why we here. That's why we work and just keep progressing and pulling through.
Right.
You know, for our fans, for people we look up to, and others. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see, you know, what's in store.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You know, we already got everything. We it's like we players in the game. We already got everything in play. Now it's time to win that chip.
Yes, sir.
So we about to win that chip, definitely got some good basketball tonight. So I'm gonna tune in and watch that. The Hornets and the Hawks and the Spurs and Pelicans. Make sure y'all peep that tonight and see who wins in the play-in tournament. That covers everything for today. So, you know, as always, it's your boy Reik and Regg. Big Reg.
Check it out.
We out.
See ya.
Deuces.